Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The National Security Minister and the Attorney General butt heads over the search for a missing pilot.
Our News is brought to you by Aguilar.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. The National Security Minister Marvin has characterized Attorney General Carl Bethel's recent criticism of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force as off base. Search and rescue efforts have come under intense scrutiny following the November 8th plane crash. Dames cautioned leaders against speaking out when they don't have all the facts. However, Dames has also been criticized for wrongly asserting pilot Byron Ferguson did not file a flight plan. Jasmine Brown reports.
The National Security Minister had a few comments about the AG's scathing assessment of the search and rescue efforts. However, he did insist he believes the AG is mistaken.
Well, I have many thoughts on that. I think he was absolutely off base. I don't have anything else to say to that.
But the National Security Minister did have more to say as he again defended the armed forces in the wake of their controversial search efforts. Last week, Attorney General Carl Bethel said it boggles the mind that Defense Force officers would leave the crash site on the night of November 8th after they reported spotting the tail of the aircraft sticking out of the water, while Dames insisted those in authority should stay out of the fray.
We have to be careful not to get caught up in the frenzy, of attacking an entire agency in the absence of evidence, okay? Whether it's my party or anybody else's party, okay? We as leaders ought to set the example. And when we fail to do that, then anything follows. This is the vast majority of men and women in the Royal Bahamas Defense Force are hard-working people. Police force, hard-working, okay? And we have to take these things into account. I'm not saying we can't be critical, all right? When the facts are there, we need to face up to it, live up to it, and address it, okay? When we don't have facts, as leaders, we have to be careful when we open our mouths.
The pilot's brother, Bjorn Ferguson, told the Nassau Guardian on Monday that he does not believe the force did all that it could during its initial search and rescue efforts. Last Thursday, volunteers found debris believed to be from Ferguson's plane, which only increased public outrage. Dames said officials are doing all they can to bring some sort of resolution to the family. He also offered this apology to the family.
Listen, I feel it for the family from the time this incident started, all right? And I know that some things may have been said, and this is a very sensitive issue, all right? And I do apologize for some of the things that may have been said that may have caused some grief.
Ferguson was flying a 6-seater Piper Aztec aircraft from Palm Beach, Florida to New Providence late Thursday when it crashed 2 nautical miles away from Lynden Pinling International Airport, according to authorities. Since then, search efforts have been heavily criticized. Despite his defense, Dames did admit there is room for improvement.
Listen, every organization have areas in which they need to improve on. The Defense Force is no different.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Well, a review of the policy which keeps Family Island runway lights off at night is forthcoming, according to Tourism and Aviation Minister Dionisio de Aguilar. Jillian Gray has that.
In the days following the November 8th crash, pilot Byron Ferguson's family has expressed frustration that after the plane started experiencing problems, Ferguson had to pass 3 Family Island airport runways, Chub Key, Great Harbor, and San Andres, but was unable to land on any of them due to a lack of lighting. Tourism and Aviation Minister Dionisio de Aguilar says lights at Family Island airports are kept off to discourage nefarious activity. However, this incident may prompt them to review that policy.
Many moons ago, this decision was made that these airports will be operational from sunrise to sunset, and therefore the lighting would only be used in an emergency situation. And this particular instance may cause a review of that and see what we can do. But you've got to turn on the lights. You're going to have someone there in order to ensure that no nefarious activities take place. And all of that is cost and manpower, and all of that has to be taken into consideration on the one side versus the potential saving of a life.
Former Aviation Minister Glenys Hannah Martin said yesterday all airports were equipped with emergency lighting during her tenure as minister. Aguilar says with the exception of Deadman's Key Airport, where the lights sustained storm damage, lights at all 28 Family Island airports are working. As for the 3 airports Byron Ferguson passed over that fateful night, the Aviation Minister said,
those specific airports that may have been accessed or our requests might have been made are in working condition. Is every single light bulb working? I don't know, but certainly sufficient lighting to accommodate an emergency landing. Now, that's what I'm advised.
The Aviation Minister was also pressed on the protocol in place on each island in the event of an emergency.
The protocol is that when an aircraft is in distress, they radio the Lynden Pinling International Airport's control tower, and they then advise the airport at which the aircraft wishes to make an emergency landing. And there's a person, a policeman specifically, who they call in order to advise.
Ferguson's plane went down 2 nautical miles from Lynden Pinling International Airport nearly 2 weeks ago. Though parts of the plane have been discovered, the pilot is still missing. Aguilar said an investigation into what went wrong could take up to a year.
This is a department that the political directorate have no interference with. We let them get on with their job, and when they're ready to opine on this issue, they opine. It's not a process that can be rushed nor interfered with.
Now, search efforts for that missing Piper Aztec are ongoing as officials have promised not to stop until the family has closure. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
All right, thanks, Jillian. Well, residents and business owners in over-the-hill communities reacting to news of those areas officially becoming tax-free zones. As our news ventured through Bain and Grantstown today, we got mixed emotions, with some applauding government's move and some not too sure how they will benefit.
Business owners, I don't think that act will benefit us.
Just last week, the Prime Minister announced that effective November 1st, areas in over-the-hill communities were declared a tax-free zone. The incentives are outlined in the white paper and apply to residential properties, both owned and rented, commercial and industrial undertakings with an aggregate turnover of $5 million or under, and all enterprises whose primary incomes are not derived from the business of gaming or the sale of alcohol. Frank Baptiste runs this liquor store along Nassau Street. He called the move discriminatory as his company wouldn't get the full benefits because he sells alcohol.
That ain't right. I don't think that's fair. Because, we all pay taxes. Everybody doing the same thing, Everybody's struggling the same way, putting in that same work.
The store has been open for just over a year now, and Baptiste says he does all he can to make money to take care of his family.
So, we got ups and downs. Sometimes we go up during the holiday, pick up. Then you got your little dry season.
This is your main source of income?
Yeah, this is my main source.
Just a minute away along the same street as Jamal Taylor. He owns this store, Blow and Go Tire Repair. When he spoke with our news, he applauded government's efforts in the inner city communities and said he believes a lot of residents will benefit from living in a tax-free zone.
For residents, it's not really, like business owners, we can't really bring in anything duty-free because what we're going to do, it's not like we're going to renovate the building. Yeah, most of the business owners, we leasing from the owners. Oh. So for us to renovate the building, that wouldn't really be benefiting us. But for the residents that lives in the area, that'd be good for them because their homes here. You understand? They own the land, they own the property they own.
In walking through the area and seeking residents or business owners to talk with, we realized 2 things. Not many knew they were living in tax-free zones, and many didn't know what that meant. So we broke it down a bit further. Being a tax-free zone also means qualified residents and business owners will receive exemptions from real property taxes, customs duties related to construction, equipping and completing buildings and structures for a period, excise taxes and stamp tax imposed on real property. Carol Roberts is the pastor for the Salvation Army Grantstown team. She said working in the heart of the community and seeing the people every day, she's certain any assistance would go a long way.
Any help that is offered will be, I think they'd be most grateful.
Unrest in Haiti has prompted the Bahamas government to close the Bahamas embassy in Port-au-Prince and suspend Bahamas Air flight services to Cap Haitian until further notice. Foreign Affairs Minister Darren Henfield says the action was taken after consultation with the ambassador of the Bahamas to Haiti and security personnel in Haiti.
Apparently, there was civil unrest. These things are what to happen in Haiti, and so we're always very vigilant about how we treat with them.
Henfield added that in situations like this one, Bahamian officials usually follow the protocols set by the United Nations, which in recent days has implemented a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. until further notice.
Really, Bahamas Air always has a good handle on when to go and when not to go, because they're always very involved and speaking with us at Foreign Affairs. And so if Bahamas Air doesn't fly, they'll advise Bahamians not to fly there as well.
Now, the Foreign Affairs Minister says all staff of the Bahamas Embassy are safe and officials will continue to monitor the situation. Well, following the recent release of a viral video of an officer slapping a person who identified himself as a tourist, National Security Minister Marvin says action will be taken following the results of an investigation into the matter.
We're not in the business of covering up for officers who abuse their authority.
The video, which was being heavily circulated on social media, shows an officer asking the man to move from where he is sitting, informing him that he is loitering. It begins with the officer asking the man to show him some ID. After the officer inspects the document, he tells the man to leave this area and hands him back his ID. The man grabs the passport out of the officer's hand, resulting in the officer slapping him. The officer then gets in the man's face, curses at him, and says, "Don't play with me. I don't play. Go that way." Dames has called the video appalling and insisted there will be accountability in the matter.
Certainly, at some point, the commission will have to account to me, as well as the people of this country.
Still to come, amid an Atlanta strike threat, the labor minister addresses labor relations in the country. Plus, Western Air introducing its jet service. Stay tuned.